there's nothing I can really liken it to other than someone getting a needle and sticking it through your nipple.
All I want to do is sniff firelighters.
I'm out of breath and all I did was set up the camera. Oh. Hello my internet family and welcome back for another pregnancy update video. So if you missed my trimester one kind of like recap and Q&A, and in that I discuss getting pregnant and miscarriage worries and why we've not found out the sex or the gender or whatever, all of that is in my trimester one video, and I've been waiting to make it through what is known as the honeymoon trimester, the trimester 2, before making this video, before doing another update. I'll be honest, there was days while I was in trimester 2 that I really didn't think of it as a fucking honeymoon, but now I'm in trimester 3 and I would give anything to go back. I'm 28 weeks pregnant, so I've just made it into trimester 3 and I am so tired. Oh my god. Well, in this video we'll be talking about all of the good and the bad from the middle of my pregnancy. Lots of things that I've learned that I hope will interest you even if you're not pregnant. Like, this is it's just interesting and fascinating what our bodies can do. You might have seen there at the start that we got a 3D scan to see our baby's face and features and stuff like that, and I think because we're not finding out if it's a boy or a girl, we really wanted to do that to have a sense of bonding, but also because my husband wasn't allowed into my official scans due to COVID, and I felt really bad for him because he just felt like he was missing out on so much. They're not carrying the baby and they're not feeling it kick and all that. Oh, the kicks! Oh, there's so many things to talk about in this video. Okay, but yeah, anyway, we got the 3D scans and I'm so excited now, and I'm a baby. Before I dive into the clusterfuck of symptoms, just to let you know, I am still applying oil every day, twice a day, to my belly, my hips, thighs, boobs, all that kind of stuff, and I still don't have any stretch marks. My weight gain as of week 28 was 21 pounds, so I'm right on track. I'm on the upper end of like the weight gain and stuff, but it's all going to the baby, my boobs. I'm loving it. I love being pregnant, like I do, even though all these things, like, just wait until you hear some of this shit that I've dealt with recently, and it is amazing how you can still be like, oh, I'm loving this, oh, I want to do this again and again. Like, that must be a biological thing, because if it was anything else causing all these symptoms, like say a contraceptive pill or whatever, I'd be off that pill like that.
How are you? Editing Melanie, popping in here, half asleep. I've popped in just after I've edited this whole video. There I am. Didn't touch on cravings once, and I have to get this in near the start because, right, first one, nice, normal, ice pops. Love a nice ice pop in bed now every night. Something cold, something sweet, something sugary. Have to have it. Second craving, not something I can eat. All I want to do is sniff firelighters. When I smell that now, it's like having an orgasm. I'm not even joking. When I was having my lunch during editing, I came downstairs in the family home and I could smell these from across the room, like Irish peat. What mineral is in that? Like, look, danger. Oh god, no. I'm not letting myself buy them so I can sit there sniffing them because I know it's chemicals, but like, I was in Thomas's grandmother's house one day and I could smell something and I didn't know what it was, and I was like a dog sniffing around the room trying to find what it was, and it was firelighters, and she was like, don't be sniffing that, you know, I don't know if it's dangerous or whatever, let me know if you know anything about this, but like I've always had this thing with petrol and all, and this is like a much more intense. Oh my god, the whack of it, like I can't even, like right now I just, all I want, because it's lasted about 7 weeks now. I was in Thomas's utility room. Same thing happened. I smelled them somewhere. I didn't know where they were. I went sniffing around like a dog, found a packet of them, took a few sniffs to satisfy the craving, and then like I was out food shopping with my stepdad and my sister one time. I could smell the firelighters from the next aisle over. It does something to me. Someone explain what could be in a firelighter that I could possibly need.
So I'll start off with a positive, is that going into trimester 2, all of the exhaustion and the nausea really promptly went away for me. Like, it wasn't an overnight thing, but it was a gradual thing of a few days where I noticed I'd be waking up and feeling normal, literally normal. Like, other than the fact that I had a bit of a bump, I didn't really feel that pregnant. The nausea just dropped off as well, off a cliff. I was like, farewell. And I am so lucky. I am very lucky that I am not one of the women who like feels sick all the way through pregnancy, because for most women it's just the first trimester, like it's just the first 12 weeks or so where you either are puking or you're just nauseous a lot. So thankfully I didn't have to deal with that in trimester 2 at all. And for a little bit I was like, I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa. But then, my friends, the first bad symptom, I'd say it's not the worst symptom. It was the worst symptom of trimester 2 for me until toward the end. But the first signs of this coming on, I was like, this is only going to happen a couple of times. It's fine. Intense, stingy nipples where my nipples would turn white. The tips of my nipples would turn white. Searing, agonizing pain. Localized just in my nipples, not in my whole breast. Like, I still had the kind of slightly achy breasts, but it was just the nipples and like the whole areola and the tip and all that kind of thing. There's nothing I can really liken it to other than someone getting a needle and sticking it through your nipple, or someone getting like a really tight clothes peg and closing it on your nipple. And like, maybe some people are into that kind of thing, but it was like that combined with the feeling of like cuts being there and blood coming out and someone like sucking on it real hard, like really bad nipple pain, right? And it would come along, and this went on for weeks, but it would come along just like, usually if it was cold, or if I was, I don't know, getting changed, or I don't know, like if I was out walking, like nearly every time my husband and I went out for a walk, it'd come on. And the first few times were like bad, but not so bad. Like, it would last for like approximately like 60 seconds. It would build to this peak of intensity and then it would go away. It got so bad, like, imagine someone biting your clit. That's the amount of nerve endings in your nipples, in my nipples anyway, it is a lot. Like, I've always had very sensitive nips, and this pain, it was so intense. There were a few days where we would be out for a walk, I would start crying, we'd have to go back, Thomas would have to go and get hot towels, and that was the only thing that kind of soothed it and made it go away quicker, was like having a hot towel on the nipple. And I thought that was going to last until throughout the pregnancy and throughout the breastfeeding and all. It didn't. So it went away, I think, after about 2 months. I got really fed up with it at one point and rang my doctor, and I was talking to her, and she had it herself, and she said it was called vasospasm of the nipples. But you can have vasospasm in different ways. It's something to do with the blood vessels. And obviously, like, I'm 30 years old, but I've been fertile for 19 years, since I was 11, since I got my period. Like, I've been fertile since then, and it's like maybe trying to rev up an old car, you know, and like getting everything going. The blood vessels and all, it just all had to get working, I suppose. And it's absolutely fine now. I haven't had that in ages. My boobs actually aren't even really that sore now. They're just constantly getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I love it, and so does Thomas. He's delighted. Other things I've noticed while out for walks is this like pressure in my pelvis area, my vagina. At first it was kind of like as if someone was pressing a fist down onto where your like pelvic floor is. So I've been doing an awful lot more pelvic floor exercises and stuff to try and like ensure that that area is strong. Yeah, like throughout trimester 1 I was still going to the gym and lifting weights. Even in trimester 2 I was doing home workouts with weights, and I was walking for like an hour most days. And then it got to a point where I couldn't do the long walks anymore because this pressure down there, and then also that slowly developed into also having pelvic girdle pain, where all of your pelvic area, like for me anyway, it feels just really achy if I overdo it. If I do a workout that's too hard, or if I walk too far, like even more than 20 minutes. So I've had to really go easy with exercise, which is hard for me because I love working out. Like before I got pregnant, I was squatting like 60 kilograms, deadlifts, and I love exercise. I love being out and about and fresh air, but I'm having to slow up and just listen to my body. Exercise is meant to feel good, and if it's not leaving you feeling better after it, then it's not really worth doing. So I'm doing more like gentle yoga stretches and all that kind of stuff now. The only thing for me that helps with the pelvic girdle pain is my pregnancy pillow. I sleep with it, I nap with it, I work with it. Lying on my left side, they just recommend your left side, something to do with blood flow or whatever for the baby is better. So lying on your left side and having a massive big thick pillow between your knees or thighs or whatever, just to separate your legs, and it keeps your pelvis in a certain kind of position. And that is like the only thing so far that I found that helps. The ugly naked roll in the middle of the night, right, in bed, can't just sit directly up, so you kind of like roll out of the bed and then you waddle off to the toilet. I would just love if there was a camera in the bedroom to capture what I must look like in the middle of the night, because I'm getting up like a couple of times to pee now, and every night. The main reason for the roll is the girdle pain, is like the pain in the pelvis, because if you separate your legs or if you move your legs in a certain way, you just kind of feel this like ache. I've had random bloody noses. Apparently that's a pregnancy thing. I've had really shit heartburn in trimester 2, where, you know, just anything that I ate, really just a lot of heartburn, and I only will take a Rennie or something like that if I really need one, but they help so much. I had this random back spasm where I couldn't walk. Thomas needed to proper like massage it out for me to even be able to move. It just happened while I was walking up the stairs. Don't know why. The worst one, okay? The worst symptom. And I debated whether or not I should talk about this, but look, I'm going to talk about it. It's just something that happens, and I think the reason it shocked me quite a lot is because no one talks about it. So that's what I'm here for, to just normalize this kind of stuff, right? Now, piles, hemorrhoids, we all know what they are. If you've ever struggled with digestive stuff or constipation or straining on the loo, and you get like either a lump or pain or an itch or something down in your bum, and it's like a vein that's just, yeah, we know what they are, right? But I didn't realise that there were varying kinds of hemorrhoids. I didn't realise how bad they could get and that they could protrude from your bum. I didn't realise they could become thrombosed. I didn't realise that they could leave a load of blood in the toilet and on the tissue. And this wide variety of hemorrhoids is really common in pregnancy because of the weight and the pressure of the baby on your area down there, and then also because you're more prone to constipation during pregnancy because all your organs are being pushed around, everything slows down. Yeah, I had a really bad shock one day when I had this really, really bad pain going. I'm here to share this tip because it has just saved me so much. And you know, I am eating so much fibre, I'm drinking lots of water, I'm moving, exercising as much as I can anyway, but it's a pregnancy symptom. Like, it's a really common, frequent pregnancy symptom, so for a lot of women it just can't be avoided. And there's nothing quite like reaching down to wash yourself and feeling something protruding from your bum and having to push it back in, and you're like, what the fuck was that? Anyway, I told my doctor I didn't want to take like laxatives or anything harsh or whatever, so they recommended something called Dufolac, and it is the gentlest, most like natural version of a stool softener, not a laxative, but a stool softener that you can get. It's just like a sugar. As I've explained in other videos, my food intolerances in pregnancy are just like gone, and I hope they don't come back. A lot of you told me that for you that they did or they didn't or whatever, but there is I think there's lactose in this lactulose stuff, I think, but it's not doing me any harm anyway taking that, and it essentially just softens your stool and bulks it with water, and it makes it much easier to pass, and it's really, really helped the hemorrhoid situation. So I've asked, could I kind of stay on that for as long as I need to, and they said that's fine. I never forget to take my little serving of Jufolac every day, and it's really nice. It's sweet, you know, it's a sugar, so it tastes like syrup. Yeah, it's just not a nice feeling. Like, I totally now understand all those memes and stuff about being pregnant and having no control of your body or your emotions. It's a lot, and I think being mentally prepared and this being a planned pregnancy and stuff, it's helped me to deal with these things in a really good way, because I do feel like I put a ton of work into myself through my whole 20s, you know, and that's why I'm finding it like enjoyable in the face of all this stuff. Obviously there's the biological stuff as well, like probably making me ignore all those bad parts, but that is something I'm working on at the moment. Actually, is like a positive wellness boot camp type like online course, just kind of covering all sorts of stuff to help you develop like a strong mind and a positive outlook and all, as I think it helps so much when you're dealing with any kind of life crap, like world events or just health stuff, body stuff. But yeah, and then emotionally, like in trimester 2, this is really hard to put into words. So I would have random bursts of crying, like very rarely in trimester 2. It did happen, but it was a lot more common in trimester 1, and now in trimester 3, like just crying at nothing happens more often. In trimester 2, I felt like the most emotionally and mentally stable that I've ever felt. And even Thomas said it to me about this pregnancy. He was just like, Mel, like, I'm really pleasantly surprised, because you do hear this stereotype of pregnant women being like crazy and just like so dramatic, and like, you know, that they're very scary, like the scary pregnant lady and stuff. And he said that before I was pregnant, I was actually like way more up and down in terms of emotions and hormones, like being hormonal. During the pregnancy, I've been really like just grand, like calm, serene, you know, just kind of like, oh, like it's a really, really nice feeling. And like, yes, I've had painful bloody stools and stingy fucking nipples, and I walk like a penguin because it's sore, and then all of the stuff from trimester 1, you know, but all those things, like, I don't think that they would put me off wanting to do this again. Like, I think I'm having a relatively easy pregnancy compared to some people that I know. And, you know, I watched like Miranda Singh's videos, Colleen Ballinger, and she was fainting all the time. And my friend Caroline at the moment is pregnant, and she's been getting sick, like vomiting the whole way through and stuff. So I do count myself very lucky, and I do feel like I'm having a very easy time of it, you know, all things considered anyway. And yeah, it's just been not as scary, I think, as I anticipated pregnancy being. And then I did get to see where I'm going to be giving birth. Hopefully, once all things go well, I'll be giving birth in this midwife-led unit in Drogheda Hospital, and it is so gorgeous. They have a pool where you can labour. The birthing partner is allowed to stay there with you, and they have like speakers, aromatherapy, diffuser stuff, you can dim the lights, and it's just midwives, no doctors or consultants or anything like that. And all they offer there is like paracetamol or gas and air. So I am doing a hypnobirthing course with Thomas, which I will do a whole separate video on that. Like, maybe I'll talk about it in a couple of other videos, or I'll do a whole video on it. But it has really made me very excited to labour and birth my child. Honestly, like, I'm not even joking. By the Positive Birth Company, it's like 40 quid or something like that. So worth it. And yeah, I had a couple of questions about why I'm doing my birth on the public system, and it's like people were shocked by that. I was like, why wouldn't I? Here in Ireland, we have an amazing public healthcare system, and there's very little difference really between going private and doing a public with births anyway, especially because I want to do it with midwives, and I don't want to have consultant-led care. I'm not planning an epidural or a C-section or any of that kind of stuff. And because I don't have any complications, I'm low risk. Like, it just does not make sense to me to pay however much it is, like a couple of grand or something like that, on like going private, and I might in the future so I can compare them and stuff, but I think for my future births I actually want to have home births, which you do have to pay for obviously, but I'm not like a princess who thinks she's so above the public system. I just found it really funny getting those messages. What is it? I'm 28 weeks, and I think from 37 weeks onwards you can technically give birth, but and I hope I can do it all naturally, like with no induction or injections of any kind or whatever. I'm just going to see, but I am open to any outcome, you know, if they said, you know, your baby's in distress and we need to do an emergency, blah, 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 blah. I'd be like, just do whatever you want. I'm not getting too precious about my birth plan or anything, but that's the plan so far. We got to have a plan, even if we're open to changing the plan. I think the only thing I haven't talked about yet is like sex and my sex drive and stuff in trimester 2, and my sex drive hasn't really been affected until really recently, only because I'm finding it hard to move and stuff. But in trimester 2 things were as usual, you know, frequent, very good, however very limited in terms of positions, so a lot more of me on top from behind. You know, you can't be doing missionary, you're not supposed to lie down really on your back when you're pregnant, and yeah, you just have to get a bit more creative. But again, some weeks it would wane, like if I wasn't feeling very well, if I was in pain or whatever, I wouldn't be up for it for a few days. But in general it's not been as affected as I expected it to, thank God, because that's just, it's so important to me. I'd say post-birth is going to be the longest I ever go in my life, adult life, without having any kind of like sexual activities, because obviously you have to let things heal if you're having a vaginal birth and all that kind of thing, and I'm gonna find that hard, but I think I'll be so distracted that I won't be thinking about it, you know. I'll be just like, baby. Yeah, so if you have any questions about pregnancy so far for me that I haven't talked about, or if you want to ask a question where you want me to elaborate on one of the answers that I gave, please comment them down in the comments area. I love reading all of your comments, especially during this lockdown. I can't see most of my friends. Like, I've seen some of them, but I can't get to a lot of people. It's been hard going through this without a massive circle of support around me like what I usually have. I love having you guys to talk to on here. It means so much to me, honestly. I can't imagine how I'd really be feeling if I didn't have the internet. I've even joined like a Facebook group called COVID Mammies. Lots of other Irish women who are also like giving birth or have just had a baby and stuff, and that's been amazing. And obviously I'm posting a lot on Instagram and that, but please comment and let me know if you like this video with a thumbs up, and I will keep you in touch in the meantime on Instagram and on here in like various vlogs and stuff. But I'll do a trimester 3 video, and then I'm gonna have a baby. I'm gonna be a mammy. Oh my god. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you again in another video very, very soon.